Or do you not mind now that we've already landed on the Mun, so if you do another Mun mission, whatever. What's your thoughts on that? Okay, this was the biome scanner that we wanted to get to the Mun. And as you can see, we specifically, through our attitude adjustment, in the middle, if you remember that correction burn we did at the start of the stream while it was around here, we pitched it upwards so that it would fall up like this, so that when it encounters the moon, it gets pulled down. And then at that point, we want to adjust it into a polar orbit. Using only 187 delta V, which is just the way I like it. Can we please focus on the Mun? No? Focus view, there we go. Yeah, a perfect polar orbit exactly as we want it. Now let's check. This baby, I believe, has no problem. We can check its science. Oh, science here now is on. Okay, we can just fast forward until it is where we need it to be. Your thoughts are you can't watch for a period of 2 weeks. Oh, yes, you are going on a lovely trip with the family. I mean, let's face it, that is far more interesting than I could ever be. There we go, we're getting some signs from the orbital telescope. Our lander, the Jexus 2B, the Expeditious, it now has power again, so it will be retransmitting. Be curious to see it, but you don't mind exactly when I do it. Yeah, there are VODs after all, and I put them all up on YouTube as well. 187 delta V, just the way you like it. If that is a reference, Vaden, I don't know that one. Okay, fast forward, 11 seconds of burning for the delta V. Let's make sure that the config here only gives us a notification when something malfunctions. We don't want this thing to constantly be spamming us, saying, oh, hey, you know, I've got a... I'm in shadow. Oh, I'm out of shadow. Thank you, Kerbal alarm clock. There's no specific signs that we need here, so that is good to know, except for this biome scan that we'll be doing. Again, those lags, those weird stutters, that is not Twitch, that is the game. And I'm not sure how to fix that. That might potentially involve uninstalling Ferrum Aerospace after all. Okay, countdown, 3, 2, 1, burn. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh god! And this is exactly why I want that done. Darn it. Those little stutters now mean I don't know exactly whether or not we burn too much, burn too little. Now if you remember, 250 was the preferred height. So we're going to be adjusting this to 250 exactly. Which means we need to burn retrograde at our periapsis to pull our apoapsis down. Interesting enough, if I recall correctly, apsis is Greek for arch, most commonly used in English to mean the arch of a church, particularly near the nape. And apo means farthest away from, and peri means closest to. Hence, in astronomy, apsis is used to mean an arch, and of course apo, farthest away from, and peri, closest to. A little bit of etymology for you there. Okay, swift 2-second burn. Oh, it's just quoting me? Oh, nice. in particular have to be nerdy, that's all. Yeah, that is pretty nerdy. Then again, playing Kerbal Space Program and streaming that on Twitch, pretty darn nerdy. 2, 1, 1, 2. Overshot a little, but we can fix that. This again, it feels cheaty to do this without RCS. I feel like I should put RCS on these things. I kind of want to find a mod that'll force me to use RCS, that turns off all these reaction wheels. Because I haven't been able to figure out yet exactly how you edit the config files. 252, 250. Lovely. Maneuver node is in an hour. Here's a problem. EV01 has a maneuver node at exactly that time. So maybe we shift this one a little bit closer. To put that maneuver node there. That's good enough. And that makes it an hour and 7 minutes. So the biome scanner will remove that one and we'll add that new alarm for an hour 5. It gets us 5 minutes to do our maneuver, which... Wait. 5 minutes to do our maneuver of 1 second. And gives us enough time to focus on our EV mission. By the way, all the satellites that we've been putting in orbit just keep on increasing our comms network, which will help us tremendously on Mun landings because there will be more and more satellites. Oh my god, that is still the Man-Mun mission lander. Which will help us keep in contact with anything we land on there. There is, by the way, a means in the settings to change where the nav ball is, in case you were wondering. Okay, Kerbal alarm clock is slowing us down to 1 minute before the maneuver node and gives us... There we go. An alarm. I usually keep it to 1 minute. I'm fine with that. We could already actually fire now. Since we're not doing it exactly at the maneuver node to begin with, there's no real difference. Here's one thing we can do though. Let's see. To shift this, I should burn radially out. If we burn radially out, we should, if I recall correctly, shift these two. See, the periapsis is being raised. The apoapsis is being lowered right now. Means it's now 250. And the apoapsis is 252. Boom! Which is where we want this thing to be. And we can now see that they are... It is in a polar orbit. And we can engage the multispectral scan. As it starts scanning away, let's double check that image. This is the altimetry readings that we have. Which, as you can see, is sort of a dull gray, and here's a brighter patch. Because in the biome, we now have a little bit of data. And again, this helps us tremendously in future when we need to get data from a specific section of the Mun. We can now pick where the highlands are, where the midlands are, the lowlands are, even midland craters. Because there are specific craters which have specific signs you can get. Okay, we don't have the time to deal with this much. We need to go to the EV01. Now the EV01, we need to adjust to our target. Because our target is quite a way away, and we need 25 seconds of estimated burn. It is now 80 kilometers away, and in about 2 minutes, it will be at 2.1 kilometers in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. A little bit nervous about this one. It'd be interesting to see if we can do Supreme Mafi's suggestion. Make a hop at 250 meters per second velocity difference. You know what? I'm gonna quick save. I'm gonna quick save to see whether we can even do that, whether that is an actual thing that I can manage. Now, we've got our nav ball focused on the target, which means that putting it in retrograde means we will burn in a direction that is relative to our target. So right now, our 400 meters per second difference means we're shooting along that direction. So we're pointing retrograde, we will burn off until we reach 250 meters per second. Low speeds to 150 if you feel uncomfortable with 250. Yeah, I think 150 might be sensible. We'll see if we can do that. What we then basically do is we adjust this orbit to probably something along this line. And that 150 difference is going to be Rory, I think the Kerbal's name was, adjusting his or her orbit to our orbit. One important thing. We need lights on. After all, how else is he gonna know we're here to rescue him? Okay, see, it's speeding towards us. 60 minutes. 60 seconds. It'll be close. We need a burn of 25 seconds to be fully at 0, 3, 2, 1. Burn. 0 meters per second. So we're going to try and slow this down to 150. Then we're going to switch over to that craft and see if we can do a relative burn. It seems super risky to me. It's a she. Okay. We're in this craft. We're going to EVA with Rory, our mechanic. Okay, where is your target? There's your target. Retrograde, retrograde. Burning retrograde while trying to move towards our target. Oi, focus, focus. Keep an eye on the monopropellant we're using. This is the riskiest maneuver I've ever done, Supreme Mafi. Hey, Joe, thank you very much for hanging out here. It's been a lot of fun, so I'm glad you've been here with us. Hope to catch you next time. So, my first goal is going to be to put the target speed at 0. And next up, we are going to want to put... Actually, why am I doing it like this? This is a lot easier now. Translation controls, there we go. Wait, I can thrust forward with you? You don't have any forward and back? That's weird. Something wrong with my joystick there. I think that's because it's EVA and not docking. Okay. You know what, Mafi? You have been completely right. Have a look at what's been happening here. We have almost equalized our orbits. But Rory has done enough speeding up to equalize with this craft, leaving behind her previous craft right there. That is very cool. Okay, let's blast up a little bit to the left. See, you have half a fuel tank free. Yep, you are absolutely right. Half a fuel tank. So it does seem like 250, as you said, would be about the limit of being able to do this. Okay, let's speed this up a little bit, because we just need to wait for 3 minutes. There we go. So in about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, I'm going to slow down our relative speeds because I don't want to smack into that pod and knock it off course. We are still, as you can see, our prograde vector is directly in line with the target. We are fine. I'm making these small adjustments. I'm slowing down, but every time I slow down, as you can see, the prograde vector wants to creep away from the target. So we're making these small adjustments. There we go, the rotating lights make it clear where we need to be. Okay, we are good. Let's move forward. Perfect. This was great help. I have never done one of these hops before, so I'm very happy we got to practice this at 150 meters per second. But that's really cool. Oh, hey, board. Ah, darn it. I was hoping to board directly from flight. That would be amazing. We have boarded, which means our... we're still transmitting. We now have fewer resources, but still okay. We can turn off our emergency lighting. And we are good. And that does indeed save us more fuel. Now, what we want to target next is around Kerbin. So if you can just, there we go, focus on Kerbin and check out Carrick's heap. We set this as target. Now, our relative nodes are not that good, and we're quite a whiles away from getting there. But let's just see what happens. Should we choose... Wait, just get that out of the way for now. How much delta V we need? That's what I want to know right now. We have 1,000. And it takes us... Let's just use this. That's a little bit easier. Slowly creeping closer. It takes us about 280... to get there, down to that orbit. This is actually not a bad estimation. Look at that. We intersect there, but the target is over there, so we need to do this a little bit further down the road. If we do it like this, but then slow down a little bit more. Wow. There. Look at that. That is 15 kilometers away. Let's see if we can fine-tune this. I think we need a little bit of adjustment. If we can adjust like this, and then very gently try to move this closer. Oh, there we go. 3.5. 3.5. 3.5, just gentle taps. 3.9. Okay, that's about as good as I can get that. 3.7. 3.0, so this is helping right now. 2.4. 2.0, that basically anything within 5 kilometers is already good. Which means that in 2 hours and 45 minutes, we can make a burn that gets us into a direct encounter. That gets us uses 300, leaves us 700 meters per second to try and get a hop. What would our relative velocity be at that point? Relative speed. Ooh. So we spend 300. Gets us 700 left. Our relative speed is 878. So we have 700 left. We can get down to 178. Down to 178, which means that we're going to be in this type of an orbit. And we still need to get an aero brake, if you recall. So this is going to be a tricky one. We'd probably have to do this at 250 meters per second, maybe 200 meters per second difference, and do the hop again. How great it must be to be that Kerbal right now? Yeah, no kidding. Floating around in space over here, and you get an actual pickup. How wonderful. This is going to be super risky. Okay, we're gonna jump to our next contract, which is the Minimus rover. Seems like a great time to make a fresh cup of tea. Absolutely. The Minimus rover, if you remember, needs to make a little adjustment to get into a better orbit. Focus your view. We're doing that to adjust to here. Here we are right now. We want to be here. And we'll just have to adjust to get into a polar orbit while we're there. So, for this one, we're going to have to do a very gentle adjustment. This is less than 1 second. So we're going to have to get this down a whole lot just so we can control it better. This one does not have any RCS. If you remember, we had huge trouble when we tried to land this on the Mun. That is why, now with this added RCS, this is no problem. Oh wait, this one we don't need to get in a polar orbit. Whew! That is some good fortune. This needs to be an equatorial orbit because we want to land this baby. So this we can just hold. And fast forward. And we're going to look at this from the Minimus side. Because we want to see when this... Whoa. When that orbit reaches there. 1. And Kerbal alarm clock slows down. Boom. Close that alarm. Now again, oh god, I limit the thrust to be precise, which is ironic because I just completely overshot the mark. But that helps me to, at a very low rate, specifically aim this orbit. If we were higher, it'd be so difficult to try and actually make these small adjustments. So that's why I limit the thrust to get more precision. There we go. So since we were late, you can see that the maneuver has shifted, and since we weren't directly on that the entire time, maneuver has shifted quite a bit. Ideally, I'd like this to be a little bit higher. I believe you get that by burning... Actually, we could probably RCS that. See, this is also why RCS is super useful. You can just use it to make very small adjustments by little taps. And that gets us into a just fine position. Right now, here is where we would want to circularize. Oi, 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 oi. Circularize, not to crash into. Thank you. There we go, circularize that orbit, and we set up another alarm for when that happens. 7 days from now, we can circularize. We could potentially get into perfect equatorial orbit, but that's not necessary. We're just gonna land this baby somewhere. hopefully, by that time, 7 days from now, our Minimus scanner... Do we have a second one? No, that's still on its way. Darn it. I was hoping that that one may have been doing the scanning already that we'd need so that we could pick out a proper biome, because if you recall, we already examined some things. Landed Minimus. We already checked out the lowlands. So we're gonna need to... We're probably gonna need to land on the flat. They're just the most recognizable. But this one's good for now. Let's swap to the other one. 6 kilometers high is pretty safe for Minimus landing. Oh yeah. There's not that many high mountains there, and it's so easy to transfer there. Okay. Now we get into the real stressful stuff. This one, ideally I'd like to see if I could use RCS to do this, but it's too risky. We need to be precise with this maneuver. So, this is going to be the riskiest maneuver I have done yet. And that's obvious, because, you know, this, until now, was the riskiest maneuver I've ever done on an EVA. Hold up. Where are you? Rotate. So this is why those messages are good with the right ships. It just told us that we would nearly lose power. Because, of course, our solar panels had rotated to behind the vessel. Relax, we are now charged again. Crew can play their music. Lovely. In the meantime, you're getting quite some radiation. So you see that they have... Jetfin has 2% radiation already. Because he's, of course, been in here and we've had very little shielding. But we're good. So. Meantime. Let's advance... Let's advance to our maneuver node. And ideally, I want to be watching this from this angle. Here's the downside. You don't actually get the update on the node, the intersection node, I've noticed, unless you actually cancel the maneuver. You close the maneuver node. So we can get some slightly deceptive information there. 18 seconds, okay. So at 9 seconds we should do... There we go, we can fast forward until this. At 9 seconds we should execute the maneuver. The alarm is set. Delete on close. Point retrograde. Dear God, suddenly that blasted forward. That's exactly what I wanted to avoid. Well, that's gonna mess up our encounter. I did exactly what we shouldn't have done, which was warp too fast. But again, there was that weird little glitch that I thought I wanted to just warp past, and then it generates too much. So in this case, I'm gonna close the node here. I mean, I shouldn't have been warping there. So it's not as though I'm blaming the glitch, but it does make it more difficult. There we go. Okay, so we're a little bit apart. Let's see. Can I do anything there in a maneuver that will help me fix this problem that I've created? I can maneuver us closer there. This is by now quite a big problem, because we were very close, but now we've moved so far apart that getting an easy encounter is very